Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to our health and wellness talk today. We'll go ahead and get started. It's 12 o'clock. We have a special guest today. Her name is Caronne Rush. She's going to be here talking about mental health and wellness today. She's also a friend of mine, so everybody be nice.
Please.
So she's a marriage and family counselor, and she does talks like this all the time. She's a dynamic speaker, and we're glad to have her. So without any further ado, help me welcome Caronne Rush.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be with you today. Stoked is how excited I am to be with you today. And I think the City of Gainesville has such a great program to be able to have this and to have this on a regular basis. I wish we had some of this on a regular basis too, where we're taking care of ourselves. So I applaud you for being here and for wanting to take care of yourselves. Marriage and family is where I come from. Mental health and wellness is where I come from. That's my focus in life. Do I have it all together? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When I think about work-life balance, I think about all the different hats that I wear, and then all the different hats that you all wear. I'll name a few. I work, yes. I'm a mommy. Ooh, any parents in here? No, yes. That takes a lot of work, yes. Or grandparent, that takes a lot of work too. I'm married. Oh, God, have mercy. Yes. It takes a lot, this work-life balance that we call ourselves, having it all together. I work at it every day. And some days I just don't even feel like working at it, and so I don't, and then I come back the next day and say, well, I'll start over again the next day. So I'm talking about mental health and wellness, and how important it is to take care of our mental health, how important it is in our wellness. We talk a lot about physical fitness. We talk a lot about our nutrition. But what's really important as well in this wheel and of this balance is our mental health. How all of these things intersect to make us who we are, to make us well. Yes? So today that's what I'm talking about, mental health and wellness. So let's do a little bit of outline. This is what we'll kind of do today. We're going to define mental health and wellness. We're going to talk about workplace wellness. For those of you who are still working, we're going to talk about the spillover model. And the spillover model is how what you're doing at your occupation affects what you're doing at home. And how what's going on at home definitely affects what's going on at work. Yes? I'm having a really good day and I'm excited, but I'm a little bit sick. Why am I a little bit sick? The spillover model. My son is 4, and so he's a little bit sick too, and he coughs in my face, and he wants so much to be held. Oh, mommy, I can't push him away. So it spills over to work. I'm coughing today, but I'm still really, really excited. So we'll talk about the spillover model some more, and strategies in maintaining this balance and this wellness. Yes. That's what we'll do today. Before we get started, I want you to raise your hand if you fit any of these categories. Thank you. She's ready. Do you fit any of these categories? Raise your hand. Do you get enough sleep? 7 to 8 hours a day? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, okay. We're doing okay. Get enough sleep? Very good. Do you get enough exercise? Yes. Do you eat well? You know, your square meals each day? Ooh, you're doing a good job. Very good. Do you volunteer? You guys can talk back to me today some too. Do you play a musical instrument? Used to. Do you sing? That'll work. We'll take it. Do you keep a list of your financial goals? Do you make time to play? Yes. I make time to play. Let's do a couple more. Do you save for retirement? Do you meditate or pray? Very good. Those are some components of wellness and what helps our mental health and wellness. So defining it, let's do that.
Within the mental health professions, wellness has been defined. Wellness has been defined as a way of life oriented towards optimal health and well-being in a number of areas. So in your mind, in your body, and in your spirit, where all of these things are integrated. I'm a walker, so it's a little bit easier for me this way. So where all of these things are integrated. So when you think about wellness, we think about the bio-physio-social, where there's interactions between the biological, your physical self, those of you who work out, eat well, your psychological self, where you have your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, and your social self, your environment, what's going on at home, what's going on in your culture, what's going on where you live, what's going on with your family. All of these things integrated is what I like to look at, because I think all of them interact. If you're stressed, it affects your physical self. Yes, you may have insomnia, you may have some ailment and you don't even know where it came from. Why does my neck hurt so much? Because somebody is stressing you out, right? Yeah, so it all interacts with each other. Some components of wellness, and that's why I asked those questions. The mental health is definitely a huge component of wellness. Your spirituality is a huge component of being well. And that's your purpose and your meaning in life. So it's not necessarily, where you go to church or do you attend church. That's good too if you do, or do you meditate? What is your purpose and what is your sense of meaning in life? And we often get that from what we believe in. So that's our spiritual self. Stress management. How well do we deal with the stressors that come in our lives? What's the first go-to? When you're stressed, what do? Eat! Yes! Chocolate? Anything! What else do we do sometimes when we're stressed? Eat? Anything else? Sleep. Drink. Alcohol drink. Yeah, you do. Mm-hmm. Some people drink, some people smoke. Some of the behaviors we have when we're stressed is healthy. And some of the behaviors we have when we're stressed may not be so healthy. But stress management, how do we deal with those stressors that come in our lives? What resources do we have to help us deal with the stressors that are in our lives? That's a component of wellness. Our social relationships. Are we in a relationship that's healthy, that builds us up? Or are we in a relationship that may tear us down? Are we in a relationship where we're giving more and they're taking and we're almost martyrs in this relationship? Or is it a balanced relationship? Is it reciprocal, where we feel like, you know what? I got your back, you have my back. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I'm also talking about friendships. Because sometimes with friends, you give so much. And when you look around, they may not be able to be there. And I'm also talking about working relationships with coworkers. Sometimes that can be difficult as well, yes? Yeah, you don't want to shake your head because you know your coworker's right next to you. But you can shake your head in your mind. Yes, you know those people. Mm-hmm. Nutrition, exercise routine, your sleep hygiene. That's a tough one for me. I'm going to tell you some of the things I don't do so well too, hopefully to keep me accountable. Healthful living spaces. Where you're living, what does that look like? Your recreational activities, how safe you keep yourself and maintains public safety, even when you're driving, personal health choices, medication routine, prevention and care of illness and injury. All of these things are components of being well. But sometimes we focus on others more than we focus on some of the other things that we should be focusing on as well. We got to focus on it all. Because if you've ever had a flat tire, have you? Have you ever had it doesn't take you very far, does it? Eventually you're gonna have to stop because it's gonna strip the, what is that thing called? The rim. It will rub off the rim. Thank you. Eventually that's gonna happen. So we have this thing called an individual wellness wheel.
Take a look at the wheel for me for a second. All those components we just talked about are in this self-wellness wheel. Environmental, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, intellectual, financial, and occupational. Now we strive for this. We do. But a lot of times we may look like this, or a variety of this. Is life always gonna look like what you have on my right? Not at all. But we work towards maintaining some balance in our relationships, in our individual selves, in our families. So when it's like this, and it's not round, we have a problem. When we're ignoring our emotional self, say it with me, we have a problem. Okay, one more time, we have a problem. When we ignore our spiritual self, what happens? There's a problem. When we ignore our intellectual selves, there's a problem. So we have to focus on all of these things so we can make sure that we pump some air into that wheel. Yes? Pump it, pump it, pump it, pump some air into that wheel. So our emotional health, this is really important when you think about mental health. All of it is important. But depression is a very real thing. And it's a very real thing in families. It's a very real thing on your job. Depression is very real. You may have a coworker that you know that may be depressed. So it's difficult to keep that balanced wheel when there's something, mental health illnesses that may be happening. It's not a weakness at all, but it's something that you definitely need to pay attention to. What is depression? Caronne, what is depression? Depression is when you're feeling hopeless. Depression is when you're feeling helpless. Depression is when you are not able to function and do your daily routines. If you have a coworker that you're seeing that's absent from work very often, or a coworker that's not being able to live up to the expectations of that job, this person may be depressed, or they may just be experiencing something at home, but depression is something that you really want to think about when it comes to mental health and wellness. There's other things like bipolarism. Bipolar, I think, is about 1% of our population is bipolar, but depression you see more. There's seasonal depression. So you may have some people who feel more depressed during the winter months, or may feel more depressed during the fall. There's situational depression where there may have been a death in the family and it's hard to bounce back. I had a friend of mine whose husband died, and it took her a number of years to actually feel like herself again. She still has some difficulty when it comes to Father's Day or their anniversary, those kind of things, but really felt depressed, not just sadness, it's overwhelming sadness. Really felt depressed to where she wasn't doing her normal daily routines. So this does happen oftentimes to people situationally and seasonally, but then there is an ongoing depression. Depression may take the following forms in the workplace: nervousness, irritability, unengaged, slow productivity, fatigue, frequent complaints about minor things, and physical ailments. You see sometimes these things in people, and what do we tend to do as people? Instead of addressing them, sometimes we'll talk to somebody else. But we'll talk a little bit about how to help someone who may be depressed or feeling depressed. Now you see this a lot more in women. Not that men aren't depressed, but men, for some reason, you hide your emotions pretty well. Pretty well. My ladies in the room, I can tell what you're thinking. Majority of you, just by looking at you, I can tell if you're having a good day, if your mind is on something else, if you're having an okay day. I can tell my men, same look, just chilling. I don't know if you're upset, I don't know if you're happy, I don't know what's going on. So men show emotion very, very, very differently oftentimes than women do. But with men, you can look for things like absenteeism. With men, if they're absent from work a lot, there's something that's going on there. And men can generally be quiet sometimes, but you want to look for those kind of things. Depressed employees they lose about 27 days off of work or productive work. So they may not be as productive when they're working. Depression is a very real situation, but it's something that you can get help with. It's not just, oh, get over it, you'll be fine. It's not that easy. You really need someone who can, professional, who can help you through those issues. Top 10, 5 reasons for happy employees, 5 reasons that you leave a job. Some work-related stress and some work-related positive things. Top 10 reasons for happy employees. Do you have a good relationship with your coworkers? No nods? Yes. Yes, good relationship with your coworkers? Very good. Do you feel like you're contributing to the business's goal? Do we know what the business's goal is? Yes, generally. Do you feel like you have a meaningful job where you have purpose and you're giving back to the community in a meaningful way? Uh-oh. Do you have opportunities to use your gifts and your skills and your abilities? And do you have a good relationship with your boss? Some of you are looking away from me as I walk around. So would you say you have a pretty good work environment and are happy at work? Don't raise your hand, you don't have to. Okay. Reasons sometimes for leaving a job. You don't feel like you get paid enough for the work that you're doing. You guys don't up and quit today, please. Please don't let it be my fault. Lack of opportunity to advance and to do more in what you're doing. Working overtime too much, yes? A work environment that does not encourage teamwork, and a boss that is not very flexible. If you're in an environment like that, you're more likely to leave the position that you're in. But if you're in an environment where you feel happy and content and you feel supported by the employees and your supervisor, you'll be much more productive and your mental health will be better. Any questions? Does that make sense? Absolutely. So some statistics I want to go over. 1 in 4 American adults struggle with a mental health disorder in a given year. 1 in 4, 25% of us struggle with some kind of mental health disorder in a given year. The leading cause of absenteeism is mental health related issues. So when you see someone absent a lot from their job, one of the leading causes is mental health illnesses. It also is a leading cause of disability. And by 2020, major depression is predicted to be the 2nd leading cause of disability worldwide. That's how strong an influence depression is when it comes to our wellness and well-being. Working with someone who's mentally ill, what are some of the things and strategies you think we could do? Patience. I like that. But they keep dumping their work on you. Uh-oh. But you're not getting anything done at work. Uh-oh. What do you do? You're the boss. What do you do? Refer them to someone in the community, So refer them to employee health services. Yes, I like that. Patience, referrals, I like that. What if they don't go? If you're a supervisor, you can make it conditional?
You're not doing your work, so that's not going to affect employment. So But temper that by having
I see. Very good, very good. Mhm. Be as supportive as you can to them. What does that look like? Talk to them. Who said that? Yeah. The first thing is just saying, hey, how you doing? I don't need to know everything that's happening with you, but I'm concerned about you. How are you? That's the very first thing I had. Just have a conversation with them. Sometimes people feel like I'm gonna go to a quick topic real quick. When you think about suicide, and those who may be suicide, and you suspect someone being suicide, sometimes we shy away from talking to them because we're afraid of how they would feel. And I would rather say to you, are you feeling suicidal or are you feeling hopeless? And that person be angry with me, than for me to not say anything at all and not refer them at all, and then something happens. Majority of the time, if you ask someone, they're not gonna be upset with you. They're just like, no, I'm just not in a good space right now. Well, here's some help. But you don't have to know everything that's happening in a person's life to help them. I'm concerned about you. It looks like you haven't been around lately. It looks like you haven't been as present lately as you used to be. I don't even know what's going on, but I'm concerned about you. Ham, I'm concerned for you. I'm all right with you. Archie, bruh, I'm concerned about you. How you doing? You all right? You need anything? No. Okay, good. But you ask them, you want to ask them, what's going on? And then you do want to refer them. You want to say, hey, just in case you need some services or need some help, here's some help that you can go to. If I'm not your supervisor and I can't mandate it, I just want to let you know that I'm here for you if you need it. The one thing you cannot do, though, is feel responsible for their change. If you feel responsible for the person changing, then you will spend so much energy and time making sure this person is all right. Maybe even covering up for this person. And then that person won't get the help that they need. Yes? So you ask them if they're okay, you give them the resources to help them, and that's about the best that you can do at this time. That's at work. We also need to do that in our lives sometimes. We feel responsible for so many people. I'm preaching to the choir. I am. And then we gotta do. You need help? How can I help you? And then when something happens, it's like, oh my goodness, I didn't do enough. Oh no. We can't live like that, right? Right. Yes. So you do your best you can to help them, but you cannot take responsibility. Some problems in the workplace: missed deadlines, slow work pace, hostility, irritability, difficulty making decisions, withdrawn, overworking. Overworking is also a bad sign, expressing difficulty with changes in work routines. These are common problems in life. So what I want to talk about now is the spillover model. How when sometimes what's happening at work affects what's going on at home. Can you give me any examples of what that may be? Something that may happen at work that affects your home life. Working late hours keeps you away from your family. And I know you do every day. Yes. And so sometimes that frustration, it's hard to leave it at work, correct? Because you can't just log off of a computer. It's not that easy for you. Absolutely, thank you. Anyone else? Stress at work. And then what happens? You take it home with you. Have we ever done it? Does it happen sometimes? What about loss of a job or downsizing? I have a coworker who 2 of her coworkers left, so she has to do the job right now for 3 people. She is looking for other places to work as we speak. Not that she doesn't enjoy her job. I think once she gets some other people to help her, it won't be as bad. And she'll love to stay because she does love it there. But because of stress. Yes? Okay. So what about a raise sometimes can help the way that we feel at home. But what about things that are going on at home that could affect our work? Can you think of anything? Sick children. How does that affect us at work?
Because you worry about them wherever they are while you're at work.
Yes, sick children, or having to take off work to take them somewhere. Those kind of things. Yes, anyone else? Thank you. Anyone else? Things happening at home that could affect, doesn't have to be you, but can affect you at work. Finances. Stress about the finances. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Taking care of a family member. Being a caretaker alone is stressful, very stressful, but taking care of someone who is sick or has a mental health illness or both, that is extremely stressful because all of your energy goes there. And so when all of your energy goes there, what happens to our wheel? It gets lopsided again because you're not able to take care of anything that's going on in your life. You're taking care of everything that's going on in that person's life. So what do we do? What do we do when these things happen? What do you do? When you have stressors in your life, what do you do?
On my way home, I turn on the radio and sing so that I don't kill him when I walk through the door.
Does it help? She hasn't killed you yet, right? You're still here. So you sing and try to get it off your chest before you walk into the door because it affects your environment at home. I like that. I may have to use that one.
Either that or I yell at him.
Who is he?
That's my boss.
Ooh, you yell at your boss.
On the way home. He can't hear me.
He can't.
He can't hear me.
That's how it was when I was a child, how you shut the door and you yell at your parents and they can't hear you. You get off your chest. Boss, she's yelling at you behind closed doors. That's all right. As long as she comes back to work and is productive. Yes? Anyone else? What do you do? Singing. Taking care of it before you get there. What else do you do? How do you handle it? Exercise. Do we? Yes. Very good. What else do you do? I just started playing kickball. And that's helping me get some stress out. You pray. Often. I know this one. And that helps relieve some stress. Yes? And gives you wisdom on how to deal with the situation. Amen. Very good. Anyone else? What do you do when you're stressed? Pamper. I know you too. How do you pamper yourself? Yeah, or people in general. Yes. I gotta hang out with you. Yes. Pamper yourselves. These are really good ways to alleviate some stress and to work on this work-life balance. I'm gonna end with living your life well. One thing that we can do is connect with other people. There's such a power in connecting with others. There's such a power in touch. I hope you're okay. I haven't touched you all day. Touch shows immediacy. Touch shows how much I care about someone. So that connection with someone, your sister, you call your sister sometimes, your brother, you call your boss, you call someone to see if you need something to just bounce off of them with, yes? So connecting with others is very important. I had some. The next one is staying positive, thinking negative thoughts. If you're someone who's pessimistic, Your death expectancy is 20% higher than someone who thinks optimistically. That's how powerful positive thinking is. 20% higher your death expectancy if you think pessimistically. So thinking positive fosters optimism. If you think negative, it can drag down your mood, and it drags down the mood of those who are around you. Yes? Whether or not you can, think that you can. Find the resources to help you. Find those who can help you and stay connected with them. Get physically active. So I'll tell you a little story. Before I was dating my husband, I used to work out 3-4 times a week. I stayed active. And then I met him. And I enjoyed hanging out with him just a little bit. And my social got so much bigger than my physical and taking care of my physical self. I went down to 3 days a week. I went down to 2 days a week. I went down to not doing anything at all because I wanted to hang out, right? But we gotta have a good balance and stay physically active. We want to help others. Volunteerism makes us feel so good about who we are. Get enough sleep. Create joy and satisfaction. Eat the best that we can with the resources that we have. Sometimes it's tough to do what we need to do because living healthy is more expensive than not living healthy. Yes, and the food choices that we have and going to a gym, and there's other alternatives, but it can be really expensive. Deal better with hard times. If you're not dealing well with it now, find alternative ways to deal with it and get professional help if you need it, and take care of your spirit. A lot of times we give you all these do's. This is what you need to do. And then you leave. Sometimes I leave workshops and I think, okay, I gotta add all these things into my life. Now I need to make sure I'm working out 5 days a week when I'm not working out at even one. So go do this. And then in 2 weeks, I'm burnt out, yes? So what I would encourage you to do is first think about the things in your lives that you need to dismiss, that you need to let go of, before adding things to it, such as a routine. So think about the things that aren't so healthy and try to let some of those things go first, or the best way that you can, and create good boundaries. If your parents or your grandparents taking care of grandkids, you can't kick them out, right? No, you can't. Don't kick them out if you can help it. So there's some things that's gonna be really stressful that you can't change, but you have to add into your life something else to counter that or create some boundaries. I sent a text message to one lady yesterday, and she texted me back, and you know how you get a text message that wasn't meant for you? She texted me back and she said, no, I'm not picking you up. You should have thought about the consequences to your actions before, And so I sent the text message back to her like, I think this was meant for somebody else because, number one, I didn't ask you to pick me up. And she's like, yeah, it was for my son. She had to create some boundaries. Whatever he did, she had to create some boundaries. So I encourage you to create some healthy boundaries in your lives. I encourage you to eliminate those things in your lives that bring you down or drag you down. Every one of us can think about one thing that may not be healthy. Eating past 11 o'clock. One thing that we can eliminate before we start adding a lot of things to our lives. Any questions? Very good. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed you tremendously.